Welcome back to Headlines Today. Now, talks between the Indian Prime Minister Manmohan Singh and the Sri Lankan President have ended in Naypyidaw, the capital of Myanmar. We just want to bring you an update from the Supreme Court. We're hearing that Subrata Roy, the head of the Sahara Group, has arrived at the Apex Court. Remember, his hearing is scheduled for 2 p.m. this afternoon. He has been summoned on a non-bailable warrant to the court on account of a contempt case that has been put against him by the Apex Court. So these visuals coming in just a short while ago, where Subrata Roy was finally brought before the court in a cavalcade of police cars. Remember, he's been in police custody for the past 4 days, but not in jail. He's spent the last few days at a luxury guest house in Kukrail in Uttar Pradesh, and after that he was at a luxury guest house in Delhi. These visuals coming in just a few moments ago as Subrata Roy emerges from that vehicle. He will be presented before the court very shortly. Subrata Roy spent the last night at a luxury guest house in Kalindi Kunj in Delhi. Before that, he had spent 2 nights at a guest house in Kukrail in Uttar Pradesh. Remember, he's been summoned by the court on a non-bailable warrant after his companies allegedly failed to repay investors several thousands of crores worth of money. That order to repay investors, and if I can see right, it appears that black ink has been thrown on the face of Subrata Roy as he was entering the court over there. We're going to try and get you more updates on that story, but it appears that black ink was thrown on the face of Subrata Roy. Lots of chaos outside the court as he was being produced at the Apex Court. Our correspondent Jaskirat Singh Bawa was present at that time. He's now on the phone line. Jaskirat, what did you see over there?
Well, he's arrived over here at the Supreme Court. Now it's just a matter of another 1 hour before he's produced over here at the bench of Justice Radhakrishnan and Justice Kher. We actually were waiting right outside the courtroom. The heat is building up. Even the crowd is building up. Everybody wants to take a look at what actually happens over here in this courtroom because it's been action-packed, at least for the last 2 hearings, especially the last one where the NBW was issued. What we're hearing right now is that it's likely that Subrata Roy will reiterate what he said outside of the court, and which is an unconditional apology for what the court sees as repeated defiance of their orders and their summoning orders. So if that happens, it is likely that he may be let off with a gentle rap on his knuckles, and of course what has happened in the past 3 or 4 days over the weekend. So that remains to be seen in the next hour or so as to how exactly the Supreme Court takes it forward.
All right, Jaskirat, from the visuals that we could see just moments before he was to enter the courtroom, we saw visuals of what appeared to be black ink on Subrata Roy's face. Can you confirm that any incident like that? All right, we seem to have lost our connection to Jaskirat. The mobile phone connections at the Supreme Court notoriously sketchy, but we are, as you can see, bringing All right, so these are visuals from just outside the court. The man on your screen just a moment ago was allegedly the person who threw black ink at Subrata Roy, and you can see supporters of Subrata Roy gathered around him, beating him up after he threw that ink on the Sahara Group chief. High drama in just outside the Supreme Court as Subrata Roy makes his appearance at 2 p.m. Ashish Maharishi is with us. He was present just before Subrata Roy appeared in court. Ashish, what do you have about this situation here?
Well, we still don't know who this person is who has done this, who's thrown black ink on Subrata Roy, and he's also torn his clothes. But at the same time, we still don't know who this man is. But certainly high drama at Supreme Court. He left this place at the UP guest house at around 12:15 and reached that place.
Your call has been put on hold. Please stay on the line.
Apologize for that to our viewers. But as you can see, the man who threw black ink at Subrata Roy now being led away by the police. He had been apprehended by supporters of the Sahara Group chief and then beaten up by them before the police could get to him. We, as Ashish said, still do not know who this man is, but as you can see over there, Subrata Roy coming into this Apex Court premises a short while ago, and he was led inside just before he got into the building. One of the men standing outside throwing black ink on him as a sign of disrespect. Remember, Subrata Roy is expected to appear in court just about an hour from now at 2 p.m. is the scheduled time of his hearing. He faces a contempt case instituted by the court after he failed to show up for previous hearings. Jaskirat Singh Bawa is back with us. Jaskirat, what do you have?
Well, yes, we have reports, of course, and visuals of ink being thrown at Subrata Roy's face. He has been brought inside the Supreme Court premises. It's likely that he will be made to sit near the registrar's office before he is produced over here at the court, the bench of Justice Radhakrishnan and Justice Kher.
Jaskirat, you were talking earlier, and as you can see, right there is when the ink hit Subrata Roy in the face. You were talking earlier about the position that the court might take on this contempt case. Give us more details.
Well, what is likely to happen is an unconditional apology may be issued by Subrata Roy. If that happens in the court, then it is likely that he may be let off today itself. But that remains to be seen, because he really did manage to get the court very upset over the past few hearings. So whether the unconditional apology will be enough to actually subside the anger of the bench, or of course we also have to understand that behind all this lies the question of the sources of the funds that have been used to give the refund back to SEBI. SEBI and Supreme Court have been very unsatisfied about the explanation about the exact source of those funds. But those questions also need to be answered by Subrata Roy, which is the very reason why he was summoned in the first place.
That led the Navy.
All right, so as you can see over there, the man who allegedly threw ink at Subrata Roy, his clothes torn off by Subrata Roy's supporters. He was later apprehended by the police, and then he said, in his words, Subrata Roy is a thief, and that is why he threw ink at him. His comments over there to the camera saying, Subrata Roy chor hai, translated to Subrata Roy is a thief.